Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Doing some more starship building today. I'm just so addicted to making ships with this new update. It is sorry, coming out of my own speakers there. You might have heard a bit of a loop. Yes, last time we found this beautiful icy planet. I'd like to think that grassy planets are my favorite, but ultimately my favorite planets have always been icy, frozen planets. There's something about them. It's just such a vibe. So this was our main ship that we had last time. But I'm going to build something new today. Something a bit more friendly. Something a bit more cozy, I think. Because this is a little bit outrageously big, if we're being honest. So, we are going to head off into the stars. And I believe, unfortunately, there is no space station in this system, so we have to pop next door to this one to actually start building. I've seen so many great ideas online on the Reddit. In fact, I think I know what we're going to do today, because I want to build something a bit more homey, not as ridiculously big as this, but still a similar vein of very much a single person ship, not a big multi-crew ship like we did last time, which was an absolute monstrosity, but then not something like this ship, which is not particularly big inside but is actually pretty massive. So I think what we're going to do is build the Pelican from Halo. I think that would be a good... Now, thinking about this. What I might need to do is swap the ship that I want to replace first. And I don't think we can do that in the space station, from what I can tell. I'm just going to do the quick option here and head down to a planet, land, swap it out and come back. Now, there is this glacial planet here, which is very beautiful, but I believe a very stormy planet. Lots of blizzards. It'd be pretty hard to build on without just becoming pretty overwhelming. So what we're going to do very quickly is land this thing. Okay, no, this isn't the planet I was thinking about. I don't know why my game, it gets so laggy sometimes. Turn VSync on. Let's bring everything down to high, not ultra. And apply. See if that helps. Restart required. Okay, so let's reload the autosave. That's better. That's a lot smoother. So doing a quick ship swap down here. I think we're going to say goodbye to the Millennium Falcon today. It was a fun first build, but I think ultimately other people have built better versions of it. And secondly, it's not really something I'm that attached to. That is our swappable ship, I think, for sure. So let's get rid of this guy. Whoa! Let's call in call in the Falcon. I don't think we've seen it since we first built it. It's okay. It could be better. I didn't do a bottom layer on it either, which didn't particularly... It's okay, actually. Now I look at it again. It's not half bad. There are definitely people online who have done much better. Oh no! Trapdoor! Up we go. Then, oh yeah, I've got to remember we got here. Along here. It's not too bad. I'm not a fan of the hatch at the back. That was pretty terribly done. That could definitely be tucked in much nicer. But this was a very quick initial build that we did. And it's okay. It's okay, but we can do better. We can do much better. So let's take this guy back. And we also have the Death Star as well, which I'm happy to swap that out. And I think eventually the original ship that I just had there will do some more updates to that as well. 4 ships being the max capacity is a little bit of a shame, but I guess I could always make a new creative save and just add 4 more ships on there, because I'm not super bothered about the progression of this exact character, and I'm literally using this save for shipbuilding, so we could do it like that. So let's pretty much take this guy, modify, and I'm going to be everyone say goodbye. We're going to be super brutal here and just delete everything. We're going to start again. Goodbye. You can't undo either, so there really is no going back. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Delete everything. Bye, 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 bye. Okay. Okay, so Pelican from Halo. We're gonna want a... Let's go with a Thunderbird hab. Oh, actually, we need some landing gear first. So let's go with 2 of those. No, forget the Pelican. Forget the Pelican. I know what we're doing. I know what we're doing. We are going to build the Starship Enterprise. As someone who really is not that into Star Trek, I think we're going to give this guy a go. So we're going to go with the Ambassador class. Actually, we're going to need to start this a little bit further back, because it's sort of weighted the lower bit at the back and then goes up. So let's move this back here. That's nice. And then just to get some initial shape going, we're going to want to go up pretty quickly. So I think I've worked out a fun way or a quick way of doing that. And hang on, have they added a new part? Because this... I feel like there's one more piece here. I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy. Let's see how this works. So I just want to try this. If we... In terms of building sort of diagonally, we want to go like this. Then we need a solid piece. Now I'm just trying this out because I've not done this before, so this might not be the best way, but let's try it there. And then that's... I don't even... Sorry, actually, maybe we just do it like this. Yeah. Now these are very flat pieces. We can maybe swap these out. I'm just trying to get the general shape going first. And then we want to do the same on this side. So there, flip it that way, flip it there, flip it there. And then the obvious thing is to put these boosters on. This might be a really quick build, you know. Can we go back? We can go back. We can go back. So let's put that there. Nice. And then I think we do a very similar thing with the front going forwards. So let's take this fuel and we're going to go up. And then up again, up again, up again, and up one more. I don't want to go too far forwards with it. And then, so the problem is, we might not be able to go up onto the actual bridge where they would be in the ship. It might be a case of we have to put the cockpit down at the bottom, maybe down here, to sort of fake that, but that's okay. That's okay. And then we're going to want one more of these upside down pieces, like so. That's nice. That rounds that off well. And then we're going to want, actually let's do that on his side too. Will it allow us to do that? Maybe not. That's all right, because I'll tell you what, we're gonna round this off nicely. So we're gonna go for a, maybe even not that one, maybe this round one like that. That works nicely. And there, and there, and there, and there, and there, and there. And then we'll have the final piece at the back. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Same again on this side, but flip it around. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Underneath there, flips on top. And then we can have our we need one more piece. So let's put, I think we've gone with the ambassador. So let's go ambassador again. And finally the landing bay at the very back. And then right at the end there, we're going to chuck a rounded bit on there, so that ties that together. And then we could even do one of these tiny little rounded cased bits, which I believe we can use this fuel pod cover for that, such as that, which is nice. I think it's just learning what all the pieces are. So there, flip that, there we go, that's nice. Very nice. And then we can do the same, pretty much the same at the front. There, and flip. And flip. There we go. And we are going to have to put the reactor core in somewhere. So, I'm thinking, is there space? There is space underneath. Although I believe you're gonna see that. Yeah, it's gonna be poking out through the top. So maybe if we use one of these circular ones and dunk it underneath, you won't see that. And then I know we need a weapon system too. So let's chuck it literally anywhere we can get away with it. Okay. Maybe somewhere hidden where you're not going to notice it. Maybe there. And another one there. Sure, why not? Okay, now we just need to build the disc on top, which we definitely have enough space for. So let's use our rounded pieces as best we can. And we're going to start with the... Actually, we need a central piece to tie this all together. So, or that could be... Let's go with that. I might replace it afterwards in a bit. And then we want a speedbird fairing. Chuck that there. We may need to come out more than that, but we'll see. See, it's not quite round enough, actually. But that... Let's try this first. I think it's good to try and see before we make any final decisions. But this might do the trick if we literally chuck just this plain, maybe a bit more rounded one, a bit more rounded than that, smoother. It might have to be Vesper cowling. And then do we? I think we do. Essentially the reverse underneath. So let's take the. Oh, what did we use? What did I just say that we're going to use? Was it this one? No. Oh, in fact, we can duplicate this. So duplicate that, flip it upside down. Chuck it on, perfect. Flip that around the other side. Chuck that on. And then there we go. Flip it. There. There. There we go. Pretty good. That's pretty decent, actually. And I think we have everything we need. We've got the weapon system. We've got the... Yeah. That's looking pretty good. And then it's quite a simple ship. I don't want to go overboard with the design. But I think... I might not... I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to replace those angled bits with the smoother pieces. There's a bit too much detail going on there. Same with this. Actually, we can put a piece in, or that can take... Ah, no, we're missing these. That there, and then we need this piece on the other side. There we go, perfect. Although it's not, I'm not super happy with how that's connecting. So maybe that is a square piece, actually. Maybe we use a relay joint for that. And then, I know what we do. We then use the rounded bit here to put that there. So that's going down, perfect. And yeah, I'm still not happy with those, so I think we go back to just these guys. Trusty, reliable. And then actually that guy can be this. And then a slightly more angled piece. And then I think we go back to the Argonaut there. And then maybe there's got to be a part that's this squared off. Yeah. The angle's not right. Angle is not right. Maybe this with the hydraulics. And then can we, maybe we can still put this piece in. No, wait, it doesn't like it. Okay, that's fine. That's all good. Is there anything we can do on the side here? Not too sure. I don't think the angles are going to work unless we put this on, but I'm not. That's gonna look weird. It's not gonna. No, that's not gonna work. That's fine. That is absolutely fine. Because it's pretty much a straight line anyway, so I'm not too fussed about it. And there we go. The Starship Enterprise. Which, if we actually apply the edit, imagine if I just didn't save any of that. We can get straight on, walk through. I haven't colorized this ship at all. It's the default gray, but maybe let's make it properly white. Properly white. So let's modify. Look at the colors. So let's go, because this is light gray and orange, but we actually want white and black. And what is the whitest? It's very subtle, but it will make a difference. And also getting rid of the reds. We don't really want any of the reds on there, so let's do that. Yeah, see, that just takes those red elements off, which is nice. Go around this side. Fingers crossed for the day they add the color all button. That would be a nice time saver. I think I've said that before, but yeah. Do this side, get the habs as well. Get the front. Should we get that? These guys all done. Okay, up on top. Now, do we put the dish on top? Actually, that's a good question. Because I don't know if the dish is going to be overkill. Potentially. It could be. Let's have a look. So when I say dish, I'm talking about this, so the radar dome. I don't like how it sticks up. What we really want is for that to be sat where this is, which I can't delete for some reason. Maybe it's an integral part? Can't seem to select this. Very odd. Well, I guess that's staying them. Okay, apply the edits and out. In the Starship Enterprise we go. I love how alien the ambassador ship design is. It's just... Someone built the Nostromo, actually, I saw yesterday on Reddit, which... Very cool. Very, very cool. Okay. Ready? Here's my Starship Enterprise. Maybe that sticks too far out the back, actually, now I look at it. Cool, though. Even just having a ship that is this shape in No Man's Sky is crazy. Oh, that's sick. That's so cool. These phase beams are awesome. Yeah, it kind of looks like he's got a little butt. like he's bagging. He's backing at the back with those sticking out. So I'm just going to go and change those really quickly. Yeah, I think when those are tidied in, that will help with the shape a little bit. They stick out way too far. That's so silly. But overall, pretty good. Not bad for, I mean, what was that? 10, 15 minutes of build time? Not too shabby. Not too shabby. I think I might actually end up having to make another save because I'm definitely going to get way too attached to all these builds and not going to want to delete them. So we're going to delete those. I think that's okay. We could put some cowling on the top to round that off even more, but I don't think that's... No, because this already rounds that out, so that's fine. It'd be too much. There's always a temptation to over-design, which we don't want to do, so let's head back. Cheers, Chippy. I'm taking that as a positive, because sometimes when people say good attempt, they mean it actually looks kind of crap, but well done for trying. This is someone who's not a massive Star Trek fan, so I can't claim to be... I've just realized the thrusters aren't even attached properly. It's also gonna irk me. It's also gonna irk me. Oof. Do we leave it? Do we leave it? Maybe for now. Great attempt. Thank you. I'll take that. Yeah, good attempt. I was kind of like, that was that a pity comment? He did well. He did all right. That's definitely not a Star Trek fan who's made this ship. I mean, I didn't even connect the engines. I do put a bit of that down to the lighting in the space station though, because it is a bit hard to see. The shadows kind of create awkward angles, so... You know what? Seeing as these guys are arriving, I want to see, relative to a freighter... Here we go, there's a guy here. What's going on? Especially now we can... Hang on, has anyone tried this? Because obviously you can spacewalk now. So can I spacewalk into this freighter? I mean, considering this ship's quite small, my ship, it's awesome to see it next to a big ship like this. One of the reactor part can't get rid of or move is another glitch, and warping to space station is broken. Well, thank you very much, Hold My Guns. That is good to know. A bit annoying because it does mean that if I want to make it, well, change this ship into something else, I'm gonna have to delete the whole thing, and instead of just modifying this, which is a little bit annoying. So we'll, again, maybe they'll patch it out, but we'll have to have a look at that. I missed, I didn't paint the other engine. That's why we needed an all paint button. There you go. Starship Enterprise. Scale is obviously nowhere near. So the actual Starship Enterprise is humongous. We would be a tiny speck. In fact, we'd probably be as big as the reticule dot on my screen here, relative to the Starship Enterprise. So, obviously, I have to think about that. But what I do want to do is see if we can enter this freighter manually by just flying up to it and going in. I wonder what would happen. Would we be able to get in? No, because of the doors, of course. of course. That makes sense. Cool though. This is fun, spacewalking around a freighter actually. Not done that. I don't have a freighter on this save. I made it for building the starships. So maybe I should get one. Because I loved walking around the freighters when they added that as an ability. That was cool. That was pretty much as close to spacewalking as you could get. I did not like the colours of those suns. That was a trip there. But I like being able to hover around. Alright, let's head back to the Enterprise. So I did chuck a reactor underneath here. But maybe the second one being there has bugged it out. Let's head back. And thanks again to everyone for, I don't know, I keep saying this, but every stream is doing really well. Not that that's, I'm not doing it for the numbers, but it's just amazing to see the numbers more as a reflection on No Man's Sky than me or what I'm doing. Just how much interest is in this game right now. It's really cool to see. So let's head back to the space station. And I believe I have, how many ships do I have? My main one, the big guy, the Death Star, and this thing. Okay. So I'm gonna get rid of the Death Star. So let's go and swap that out. And actually, I want to see what this thing looks like landing on a planet. Those are sort of the core functions from building a new ship. You want to see it in space. You want to get out in space and see what it looks like, and then seeing it in atmosphere, and then seeing it landing on the planet. Oh, this is cool. This is awesome to see this. Like flying the Starship Enterprise through a storm. Cloudy storm. It's like in first person. Yeah, it's awesome. And in fact, oh, what if we just took it above the clouds just a little bit? Let's go third person so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, hang on, that's it. Have I just got? I've hit the ground level. Here we go. I could not see it. Oh, that was like the shot from Beyond. No, not Beyond. Star Trek. What is this? Into Darkness. That's the second one, right? Of the newer trilogy. Chippy is attempting to build the Firefly lol. It'll take me a few months if I'm lucky. Ooh. Let's have a look. Well, let's head back up. What happens is I keep getting an idea and then someone keeps commenting in the chat their idea, and then I kind of get tempted to build it. So let's hold here for a sec. And leave pilot seat. What a view. This is beautiful. Oh my god, that really... I saw someone playing this in VR yesterday, and they walked to the edge of the hatch like this, and when they got to the edge they visibly recoiled backwards like this because of the fear of jumping off the edge, which is obviously not something we've really had before, the ability to be this high up and dive into a planet. You have 12 or 13 made ships, and you can put your made ship in storage in the freighter so you can make more. Okay, so is that including the corvettes? Or is that just your normal starships? Because if that's the case, then I might have to get a freighter so we can get a lot more ships on the go in this save. It's just around parts of the ship I'm gonna have trouble with. Oh, nice, it's cleared. I was actually kind of hoping to do a little base jump through the clouds, but let's see. Firefly ship. Firefly ship. Oh, from the... Oh, I see. Do you mean from Serenity? The Firefly? Is that what you mean? Because if so, I think we can have a go at building that. I think it's going to take a little bit of thinking, a little bit of brain power, but I think we might be able to do something with it. Yeah, the round part's going to be tricky, but oh no way, we're right above a crash freighter. Is that all right? Look, I think, well, what we'll do, we'll take this guy back, and well, we'll swap ships. We'll have a go at making the Firefly, see if we can do it. Because I tried making is it the SR321 or ST321 yesterday or the other day, and it just wasn't possible. You just couldn't do it. The Corvettes, we have to get rid of the small ships. I did. Okay, all right, that's good to know. Thanks for that. That's really good to know. So I thought 4 would be a bit of a shame to lock them in, but let's do a base jump. Let's do it. Yeah, I'll give it a go, Chippy. Woohoo! Goodbye. One thing I really like doing is leaving the ship up in the atmosphere, and then when you drop down and you see the ship really high up, almost like a... Oh no. You know what? I was just about to say almost like a Helldiver's ship. And I feel as if that we have to do a Helldiver's Dreadnought and do a Helldiver's drop. I just feel like that's got to be done. This is cool. Quick question to everyone. Do you know, so we can beam down from the starship, which is a very Star Trek thing to do, which I actually probably should have done. Does anyone know how to beam back up to the starship? Is there a way to do that? Because I've been looking through all the quick menus, I can't find anything. If anyone knows how to actually do that, that would be very handy. But if it's not possible, I guess that would be that. But let's actually, I'll just wait to see if anyone knows. If not, we'll call this guy down and we'll be on our way. You don't need small ships anymore. I can make my own, and I got rid of the Sentinel's ships. It was kind of hard, even though I have it on the other save. Yeah. I mean, with the Corvettes, it's just... I know the small ships are cute, but it's just so exciting. That being able to build your own is just... I would just always do that over... Whoa, look at this. What was that thing? That was cool. Where'd he go? So what we're going to want to do is call in the... our Death Star, which looks ridiculous. Yeah, let's do it. We'll call in the Death Star. And get rid of this guy. It was a fun little build. He didn't take very long. If I did want to do it again, it'd be very quick. But yeah, ultimately, pretty impractical ship design. Woohoo! Okay, back to the space station. I'm gonna have to pull up a picture of the Firefly. I'm not super familiar with it. There was a way to beam up. Isn't there a device near you for you to beam up? I don't know. I thought it would be something we'd have on us, but I guess not. Okay. Firefly. So again, this is coming from someone who isn't super familiar with the ship. I'm just going to pull up an image of it on my phone real quick. It's just not... It's not that far off the Starship Enterprise, really, in terms of the angle of it. But I don't know how we're gonna do, because I think the problem with it actually is that the cockpit is at the top at the front, and getting a 45-degree angle on that would be a little bit rough. Not impossible, but let's give it a go. So it's gonna be kind of brutal. Oh, this is bugged as well. Oh no. Oh no, guys. Hang on. Okay, we're gonna have to very quickly apply edits. Can't. We can? Okay. And then how did I end up here? Start fresh edits. Actually, let's just create new. And we're gonna override the last ship with that. If you run out of room to make more ships, just call in your small ship or main ship in the space station once you want gone. That's the glitch. Yeah. Well, annoying. Unfortunately, I mean, it's okay because I was going to delete the whole ship anyway, but if you wanted to amend the ship, that would be really annoying. Okay. So I think we can do this. I'm gonna do this really quick because I'm not super familiar with it, but let's test it out. So as far as I can tell, so it's very round. That's my initial takeaway from this. So it's got kind of a double length back. And then the main thing that's going to be tricky is trying to get this 45-degree angle, because we're going to pretty much have to do it like that, I think. And then maybe one more with that on the front. Is that the best cockpit for it? Maybe actually the Titan cockpit is a bit better. And then we can round all of these things off like that, and then it's so thick. There's no other way to do that in order to get up there. So I'm a little bit unfortunate, but I guess it is what it is. And then how does this work? There are I guess we're gonna have to. I guess the whole scaling of this thing is gonna be slightly crazy, and then we're gonna have to put the landing bay there. You know what? This is. I don't know if you were here for the. I think it was the second stream we did of this, and it was not too far off this. We ended up with this thick boy neck at the front that went down. So I've actually kind of delved into this a little bit, but essentially what we want to do, this needs to be bigger. So let's go with the ambassador, and then one more ambassador here. And then we'll round that off at the back with maybe the Speedbird diffuser. Yeah. And then do we do it like what we did with the... I'm just looking at the images for reference. Trying to figure out the best way to do this. So let's get the basic shape first. So we need the wings to come out. So let's grab some heavy linkage. And I guess they'd go about there. 1 and 2. There, 1 and 2. And then some the heavy bird boosters, I guess, like that. Heavy bird booster, sorry, Thunderbird heavy booster. And then we kind of just need to round the whole thing off, I think, right? I have to see if I can put the reactors on a landing gear so I can see them. Yeah. So you can't see them. Yeah. Chippy, beam down from the ship. You will see a teleporter on the ground to beam back up. Oh, okay. So, Fred, do you have to have beamed down in order to get the ability to beam back up? Or if I base jumped out of the ship and landed, would you be able to beam back up again? Because that was I think maybe the problem I had before is I base jumped out. But if you beam down, yeah. If anyone knows the answer to that, that'd be handy. Because then I definitely would have beamed down. Fred, you did your version of Serenity, but we need more round part. Yeah. I'm gonna try and do my best. I'm just looking at more reference again of the ship. Ah, okay, yeah, I've just seen the back of it. That's a wedge. There's a wedge. There's a G. Okay. Well, these guys are going to be our friends. These engine covers. I guess it's slightly bigger at the back, actually. Is that right? It kind of turns into a big... I know what we do. I know exactly what we do. We put this big thruster there, and we build around that. That's a good start. We need a rounded... We need to kind of come around this thing. So actually, I think we're gonna have to... what's the most rounded cowling? This thing? I wish you could flip these 90 degrees to stick them to the sides. That would really help, I think, with the rounded parts. They need to add more rounded parts. They just need to make it so you can... So you can stick it on the side. That would be... That's kind of what we need. So maybe this diffuser would work. Can this go any further back? Is it because of that? Is that what is causing us the issue? Maybe. Maybe. Let's duplicate this. Stick it on the bottom there. So now can we chuck? Okay, it's a little bit. That will have to do. Not super. No, because then we need the. Ooh. Unless we are sneaky about this. And we do. I know what we do. Pop that in there. That in there. Delete this. Have the entrance here. We're going to hide that because we're not too fussed about the practicality of it. Then put the big old thruster boy in there. Can't put it directly in the middle. That's fine. It's good enough. And we used. We need the rounded part, so engine cover. Yeah. That there. And then, yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, we really. It's not. I mean, this is kind of an illusion, I guess. If when you do it like this, it's not super accurate, but it kind of gives the impression that you've got a big thing at the back there. And then sometimes I'm like, I've pressed every button and it's just not doing what I want it to do. Okay, gonna look at the picture again I've got up. So then we have a sort of rounded bit in the middle on the top. So let's use these guys like that. And a similar thing if we maybe use these diffusers. And then we'll definitely use a different part because it's not, that doesn't quite align. So maybe what was that, a Vesper diffuser. So let's maybe go for that. Super Cruise should be more rounded, but that's okay. And then we use our handy or trusty Speedbirds to get the a bit similar to the Enterprise design we just did. There and there. There and there. Could go lower, I guess, but maybe not necessary. We do need a reactor, but I'm scared of the reactors from the previous build. Let's just put these on this side quickly. There, there, there. So, I think this is not too bad, in my opinion. We got the wedge engine at the back. We've got the wings. We've got this little domed bit in the middle. Let's go once again, and then I guess it kind of. What part is that reminding me of? These things. It looks like that should be on... I've never used these parts. Those are cool. Yeah, it's got those sort of vents on the side. And then we just use this foiling, I guess. And then the long foiling. Come on. Come on. I guess. Come on. Come on. I'm pressing every button. There we go. Maybe we needed a bigger part, actually. No, actually, I don't think it needs... maybe it does. Maybe that is the part to put there. Let's keep it smaller for now. And then... not totally sure on that, but maybe. Come on. You know you want to. There we go. There, and then last piece here. I'm gonna struggle with getting it. Oh, there we go. Now. Is that... Okay, this can actually go in here. Can it? It will go in like that. Ah, okay, it's sticking on the edge. Okay. We do need a weapon system and a... Yeah, that can go there. And a reactor. Oh. Okay, I guess the reactor can just go underneath. The square one. Okay. What do we think? Sorry, I'm just catching up on the chat. I was so focused there. All right, Chippy. This was your idea. Very good. I'll take that. I'll take that. And then what color is the Firefly? It's like white and blue. White and blue. Like a grey and blue, I guess. So let's go blue and light grey. Perfect. Perfect. So we're just gonna basically color the whole ship in like this. Color you in. Again, the all paint function would be really handy right about now. Okay. Speaking of, I mentioned the Nostromo earlier. Has anyone been watching Alien Earth on Disney Plus at the moment? Because I have thoughts on it as a big Alien fan. I just wonder what anyone else is thinking. Thumbs up from Chippy. That's very good. Thank you. No problem. Thank you for the suggestion. That was a great call. It's fun to make some... Cool to make something that I've not seen before as well. Or don't really know what it is. They're the more challenging ones. Okay, I think... Oh no, these guys. You always miss one. Or two or three in that case. I'm just gonna get the... Oh yes, because our actual entrance is here. And then we'll have to add the stairs in after. Compare. Swap current ship. Woo! Alright. Pretty cool. You've been watching Alien Earth. It's good, but I prefer the movies, I think. Yeah. I missed that piece. I knew it. Yeah, I'm finding it weird. It's been... Wait, did I miss that piece? Oh no, here we go, yeah. Yeah, I totally missed these middle pieces. And in fact, actually, sorry, we'll get back to the Alien Earth conversation. I just want to do this properly. Add these bits of blue. And then one more final check. There was like, I think these bits are blue as well. Cool. Alright. Happy with that. Yeah, Alien Earth. I'm actually enjoying the current bit that we're at with the... I wasn't sure how I felt about the kids being adults sort of thing, but I'm actually on board with that now. I think the opening of the show I wasn't a fan of. I thought it was a pretty poorly done Alien, just classic, you know, Alien running around tearing shit up, and I was not a big fan of how they did it. I thought it was pretty... It wasn't super innovative. I thought it was pretty boring. Not even boring, just sort of like... I don't know. I don't really know. It wasn't as good as I thought it could have been, basically. And I thought, is this all the show's just going to be? And then they switched it to actually being a pretty interesting storyline about the kids and what's going on with the other aliens and all that. So... And I think if we'd had... The that's a very good point. I've just seen your comment, Chippy. The yeah, you're just waiting for the next week. That was a big problem. I think if I'd got to where I'm at currently, you know, by blasting through it in a couple of days, I might have been more on board overall. But I watched the first 2 episodes, was not sold on it, and then had to wait a whole week for the third episode. Was still unsure. The 4th episode came out and I was like, I guess it's getting better, but it's taking so long to convince me that I actually like it, and it's just, I feel like this show would have benefited from just being dumped out in one go. But anyway, saying that, how are you feeling about the Firebird? Firefly. To help if I got the name of the ship right. The Firefly. I think that's a pretty okay attempt, considering we don't have that many round parts. I think it gets the point across. Pretty cool. I think hiding the landing bay in there was the right call. To have this big engine at the back. So yeah, we go. Let's warp and get some screenshots in the next galaxy because I think it looks. I think the skybox is a bit better there. I'm not a super big fan of the kind of maroon red. Whereas, yeah, against this green and blue, that's more like it. Yeah, so let's take some screenshots. Okay, nice. And sun. That's nice with the rings behind. I think from the front this is going to look pretty cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I do want to get the lighting a bit better though. Maybe like that. Maybe up there. It's not quite. It's not kind of popping as much as I hoped. Let's find some asteroids. I feel like screenshots always look good when you're in front of some asteroids. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now we're getting. Now that's cool. You get a bit of depth to it like that. That's nice. That's cool. And then yeah, this is sick. Let's actually get out. Leave the pilot seat. Out we hop. Out we hop. Out we hop. See what this guy looks like in an asteroid field. Sick. Yeah, that's a cool ship. I feel like this is a better version of the ship I tried to make the other day, which was a very, very similar shape, but the back just ended up being so big. I wish, like, the thing that really irks me about this is that this isn't central in the middle. I wish you could put pieces overlapping in that sense, because that would be perfect. Yeah. Pretty cool. Pretty happy with that. You'll give it a go. Not sure you can beat mine. I mean, yeah, give it a go still, I reckon. You might find there's a... Also, it seems like you would maybe have a better knowledge of the ship itself. So I was literally going off the first image I found on Google as a reference. This, now actually, hang on. This is a nice angle of the ship right there. That's what I'm talking about. That is sick. Yeah, I think it looks better from this sort of below angle. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to get back in the ship. Because I like the engine trails. We're going to turn around. We're going to fly it forward just a little bit. And here we go. Move the camera like this. Yeah, there we go. Kinda. Weird, it doesn't really, I feel like this ship doesn't really give as much in the screenshots, but oh well. Actually, what am I saying? I've just said all that and I'm like, go back to this and I think that looks awesome. Oh, there we go. That's a cool screenshot. No! Ah, I didn't mean to come out of it. Ah, damn it. So what I wanted to do was that angle with maybe a filter on, make it pop a little bit more. Although I'll probably edit the color in Photoshop anyway, so actually let's not do any of that. And we will bring the focal range down, and then bring the focus on the ship, maybe up that a little bit. That's cool. That's a cool screenshot. I think it being black though, well gray, but it blends in with the asteroids. You just watched the program and the movie. Well, that's better than me. That's better than me. That's more. You'll be more familiar with it than me just by doing that. Cool. Another successful build. I tell you what. Rocky planet. Let's go land on this guy. See where we're at with our other ships. Coming in. Yeah, because we've yet to see it on the ground as well. Down we go. Out we go. This is a very deserty tundra. Sick. In fact, I don't know if we have any shots of any of the ships on the ground. Now I think about it. So let's go. I think the ship looks better from behind, if I'm being honest. Yeah, look at that. That's awesome. Nighttime. Ooh. This planet looks good at night. What about a nice sunset shot? And then we will just field of view a bit, really get that sense of scale. Depth of field. Focal point. Little macro. Come on. Focus on the ship. There we go. Just so we get that. All I'm after is for the ground to be out of focus. I'll do a little bit more editing in Photoshop, but yeah, that's nice. And then can we get a really nice of the sun just peeking over? I should have got one of the Enterprise actually when we were in space, when we were in the clouds. That would have been a good thumbnail. Okay. Fingers crossed we'll be able to build ground vehicle. Oh my god, I hadn't even thought about that. That would be crazy. One thing I would like to do is to be able to put the exocraft in the ships, but I just don't think the complexity limit would allow for anything that big unless they expand. I mean, you could. You'd only need really, let's say, the two of these connected side by side with the wall missing, and then maybe a height above. So pretty much a 2x2x2 block, which I guess is not that big to put an exocraft in, but yeah, you definitely can put the Colossus in. But maybe the Roma, maybe the Pilgrim, Nomad, they might fit. I like this planet. I really like the star system. I've gone to this planet, which is the rocky planet, our home planet, which is the icy one. And I don't know if we've actually explored any of the others yet. So you just get like a sick angle. Hell yeah. Beautiful. You know what? I'm coming around to this ship. I feel like we could maybe even adapt this thing from this into something. It's just having this big wedge engine on the back is pretty awesome. So maybe we adapt this into our cute little... That's the goal. That's what we're doing. This is what we're doing. We're heading back. And we're going to adapt this guy into something. Now I'm not so tied to the trying to faithfully recreate the ship. But I do, yeah, I like the idea of this big wedge thing on the back. And I think we can just adapt the wing slightly, bring the front down so it's on one level. I think we're onto something pretty cool. Change the color as well. Gray's kind of cool, but I think we want something a bit more interesting. Ground vehicles would be awesome though. Because, I mean, imagine making a ground vehicle this big with massive wheels. It'd be like those big ground vehicles in Avatar. All right. Well, there we go. We have evidence of building the Firefly, but we're gonna just adapt this guy a little bit now. So we're gonna bring, I think, everything down to not the same level, but definitely down one level. Definitely down one level. So let's get rid of that and that, and then we're gonna bring that. Can even delete. We're gonna bring that. Can go. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. I got kicked out. Whoa. That was really weird. I didn't press anything, it just kicked me out. Resume editing. Yeah, very strange. And the piece is gone. It's alright. Can fill that in there. Fill that in there. Delete that. Move that. Actually, this to come down. Delete that ladder. This guy needs to go on the front here. A cockpit on the side, that's kind of interesting. You can build the people carrier ground vehicles in the first. Yes, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Well, I mean, that's funny you say that because both of those are James Cameron Avatar. So Avatar and Aliens, which is where that's from as well. So clearly, I mean, so much of the Avatar and Alien designs are basically the same thing. Like, they're so similar. So we actually want to go one down again. Up this. It's the wrong way. Oh my god. Okay, let's... Have I gone too low? No. No, that's fine. I think instead of moving all these bits, let's just have a real think about what we're doing here. Start fresh. So, what I might do is move the wings... maybe forwards, I want to say. In fact, what I do want to do is move... Let's get rid of these so we can position stuff where we actually want. Let's move this forward by 1. Let's move this forward by 1. Or even by 2. And we only need to delete these guys to be able to move these things forward. Maybe they're too wide. I have a habit of just making stuff super wide. So maybe that's a bit overkill and we can just go with that. Tighten it up a little bit. And then, can we move the reactor? We can. We have the ability. Nice. So we can bring that up. And then we need a single piece, be a heavy linkage, or a bolted joint. For some shape. Yeah, nice. And we want to duplicate that. Chuck in there and there. There and there. That's looking nice. And there as well. Although maybe with that we want to put something else there. Maybe a domed casing. Match it more with the engine. Yeah, nice. Now the colors on this aren't quite right. I'm going to change all of them eventually anyway, but it's really bugging me that they don't match. So that's all good. That's all good. Okay, so that's more of a it's a thick boy. But maybe it doesn't even need this, like, for out of interest, if we just chucked. No, there's nowhere for it to go where it'd be happy. Just imagining if it was real tight there. It'd be cool, but then it's got no wings. And now I've just lost all of that. So let's take those. Will it let me put something there? Yeah. Cool. So that's looking good. This is cool, actually. We just need something to fill that gap in, because that's pretty empty right now. A casing, maybe. Not quite right, because you actually want it to be like this with the engine cover. Oh my god. There. 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 Delete that. And then we want to have a big boy. Speed counting. Pretty much. Everything's still blue. We will shift the blue, but I said I wanted to make something a bit more cozy, you know, I'm making this chunky boy. Absolute unit. I haven't even maybe we do. No, I don't want to go overboard. I always go overboard with the wings. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. So what I want to do is put some twin jets here and here. Build this thing into a real unit. So by that I mean although we already have one of those, so maybe something else would have been a bit more. Maybe a fuel cell. That would make more sense to be an engine. And then what we do is put, yeah, something like that on the front. That there. And then, yeah, we just have, that's cool. That is very cool. And then on the back, we do need something there, but not that because that's too similar. So maybe we put just a swept casing. Nice and small. Cool, that's a fun engine right there. So we basically have these two on the front, big thing on the back, and then maybe if there's a no, they'd be overlapping maybe. Something else. That is very cool. They are not in the same place at all. Lower. Yeah, that is. Oh. This looks better than the Firefly. Yeah, right. Like, I think the Firefly was a good foundation, but I feel like it needed a little bit more going on. I think we can do a bit more with this front bit as well. Put a different piece of cowling on there. Yes. Yes. And then just a few more bits of decoration. I feel like this is waiting to be on each. Oh, there we go. Mm-hmm. 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 Out of interest, what happens if we put that there? And on this side as well. Is that where that was? Yeah, on the front. Oh, this is getting me a bit too excited right now. Same on this side. I know we're reaching the complexity limit, but... And then we put the diffuser there. Yeah. That's what happens when you give me a bit too much. We're a bit too excited. But now that it's almost too thick. Oh, no worries, Chippy. No worries, Chippy. Thanks for even dropping by. Yeah, go sort out. Go sort out what you need to sort out. But thanks so much for dropping by. Thanks for the suggestions for the ships. That was great fun. Next time we're on, hopefully you'll see this in its finished state, whatever that ends up being. So yeah, thank you. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good evening. Just want one more. We're almost done with this, to be honest. I think maybe like a radar thing there. It's very round. Very round. I think the color's not helping. It kind of looks like a bug. So let's change the color. I've not made a red ship yet. Or a yellow ship. So I'll tell you what. Let's go yellow. Let's go yellow for this guy. And we'll keep everything that already was blue. We'll make that yellow. I want to not do that, actually. So I'm just going to do the tips. And then actually we're going to invert that. Same with that. Same with that. Oh, the black and yellow is a really nice combo. Oof. Yes. Yeah, this is the good stuff. Okay. That may have been the wrong thing to do. Black, 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 black. Black and yellow. Very cool. Love it. Great. Keep working. Keep working. Black, black. Black, 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 black. And then I think we need the yellow. What does the metallic finish? The weathered finish is nice. Let's see what that looks like. It's kind of cool. I've not actually used the weathered finish yet, so that's fun. Maybe we just go with the gloss. But then this, I guess the vibe of this is sort of, it looks like a battered old hauler. Looks like a Bumblebee. Oh, okay, we missed this piece here. Invert that. Nice. Maybe we keep those black as well. Oh no, actually no, because they sort of join the pieces, and then if this bit here is black. Ah, okay, I think I know what we do. We make these, yeah, so it's almost like a stripe going down the back. That's cool. And then what if that was yellow? No, I think that invert, because you got the yellow on the back there. And then maybe we make that black and that. And then maybe the underside. I think that's already black actually. Yep. And then same on this side. Yep. Cool. Nice. All right. So we still have to get in. Oh no. See, you miss when you're doing it manually like that. You miss the bits like that. Yellow. And then it means you have to actually go through like this, which is a little bit annoying. Alright, apply, edit. Okay. Maybe we could even lose another room. Nah, I'll get too carried away. This is going to be our last little bit as we take this guy out and into the big wide world. Amended from the Firefly, we now have this thing. Absolute unit. It's definitely, I would definitely dub this the Bumblebee, I guess, what we're going to call this little guy. I say little again, he's actually massive. Yeah, slightly different design, more rounded. I think that was my inspiration from making the Firefly, was making something really rounded and closed in. There's not a whole lot of sharp angles to this. And I probably could have even rounded those joints between the wings even more. But let's take him to our favorite system. Raksha 19. Just before we wrap up today. And I think let's go and visit one of the other planets. I've just noticed, I think, yeah, what the wing on the left is yellow on the back. Wing on the right is black. There's a grey bit there. It just, the lighting in the space stations is so poor. It's so hard to see. It's actually more of a dark brown, maroon color, actually. The inverted, it says black and yellow, but that's not what I would call that. So we have a rocky planet here, which we've been to. And I think the others are behind it. So we're gonna scoot round. We have an icy planet, and we have a... surely we've been to this. Yeah, bountiful planet. Yeah, we have. So a pretty nice selection of planets. I think they maybe are the only 3 in this system. So saying that, let's head down to the rocky planet and have a little land. Change to third person, and let's see what this looks like landed. It's not going to be too dissimilar to the Firefly. Those different coloured wings are really going to wind me up, but it is what it is. Find somewhere nice and flat. Maybe here. I think this should do. Too fast. Slow it down. Slow it down. Let's get out and have a look. We do actually have a nice, basically double decker here. Yeah, nice. Hatch is open actually. I forgot about that. Cool. Nice. Bit of a strange design. I like it. I think it's cool. Definitely better than the Firefly. Not maybe something I would... I think it's too round for me. I like something with a bit more flair, with sharper edges, but cool to experiment with. Thanks to everyone for joining us again today. Another shipbuilding quest. It's just an unlimited new gameplay loop, really. Just... there's so many more ideas. So many different other iconic ships we could do. So far we've got the Millennium Falcon, the Death Star, the Starship Enterprise, and the Firefly under our belt. On my PlayStation account, I made the Pelican from Halo as well. So we're four or five iconic ships in. And, hello? Not really stopping. With that said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you again to everyone who's tuned in the last week. This has been an incredible time. I'm really loving chatting to you guys, playing some games, hanging out just for an hour or so every day, and having some fun. So with that, I'm gonna leave it here, and anyway, yeah, I'll maybe be streaming tomorrow. I'll try and get something in maybe in the afternoon. So if so, I'll catch you then. Otherwise, whenever it may be, I'll see you in the next video. See ya.